Hey guys, welcome to Freedom Locks. I hope that I'm audible right now. We just want to chop it up today, okay? My life, my life's going freeform too. My life's going freeform too. I'm finally giving up all control, okay? I'm letting it go. I'm letting everything go loose. I'm going freeform on all things. It's the free form of all things. You know about the Internet of Things. At one time, I think we talked about the Internet of Money, okay, or the Internet of Things. Okay, this is like the free form of things, the free form of all things. Yeah, I really do hope that I'm audible. So I was just, in fact, I just came back today from an interview. Okay, I went to I left my home, my present base, where I presently live, compared to where I was today, is like about 2 hours, 2 hours in the car. Okay, if you're driving on, let's say, 120 or no, little less, no, less. Okay, and I went for a job interview. Okay, it's actually a school. It's a high school that requires some doctors. Okay, and I want to move away from this city where I've been for the past, let's say I've been there since 2014 and I exited in 2019. I came back in 2021 and I've spent like 2 years now. And I feel like it's time to move from that city, okay, to a new one. I really do hope I really do hope I'm audible right now. Um, okay, so welcome once again if you're just joining in. So, so what I was just saying is, as I just came back home, I'm done with the interview. Um, okay, I'm in Cameroon at the moment. Okay, and I was just like, wow, it's just amazing how things are just piecing out, and they just seem to just making a lot of sense right now. To give you more perspective into this whole thing, I got to this school. It's a high school that requires doctors also, okay? And when I was being interviewed, they let me know that they're going to be, in the doctor's job description, he's going to be dealing with the sports academy, okay? So I was like, while we're talking and everything, going back and forth, I was like, whoa, Manuel, but this is kind of what I wanted to experience, okay? Working out of the hospital milieu, okay? I'm going to explain to you why I'm talking about the free form of all things, okay? Why I'm saying my life is going free form too, okay? I'm a medical doctor, okay? I'm a general practitioner of medicine, and I see myself more like a doctor who I've gone to school, I've studied conventional medicine, and at one point I realized that, oh, no, that there's something fundamentally wrong with the way medicine is going. Okay, the medicine that I thought I was going to practice when I left school is really not what I'm experiencing now. Okay, so I stumbled on a few books, and by the way, it's 10 years now since I left medical school, and I keep hearing this thing come up one every now and then. Okay, from relatives, friends, close ones, loved ones. Emmanuel, why don't you go for specialization? Why don't you go specialize? Okay, and one of the things I used to ask myself early on was like, how come those who are not in the medical milieu are able to think that they have an authority, or they're an authority, or they can give advice as to whether I should be specializing or not. Okay, whether I should leave from a general practitioner to a urologist or a psychiatrist or to a heart doctor, that's a cardiologist, okay, or not. And these are some thoughts that I always stayed with me. I used to always think about it and I was like, what if there was another way of going about this? And you see, I always like to say that I've stumbled on freeform logs. Freeform logs are just really an external expression of really what I hold on to as values. Okay. What I mean is, freeform logs, by its very essence, goes out of the grain of the what a regular hairdo should look like. Okay. I'm sure most of you would agree with this. Whether you're in the United States, whether you're in Florida, or whether you're in Yaoundé in Cameroon, or whether you're in Abidjan in Cote d'Ivoire, or whether you're in Papua New Guinea, I'm sure we can all agree that freeform logs really, really are out of the grain of what is really like considered regular hairdo, okay, the standard avatar, okay. If you have manicured locks, it's more acceptable, okay. But freeform locks is a whole different level, okay. You can see right here, freeform locks is a whole different level. So what I was saying is that I hope I didn't get lost in all of this, the freeform of all things. What I was saying is I pride myself. I see myself as a doctor who went to school. Okay, I spent 7 years practically in med school, and I graduated in 2013 as a medical doctor in my country, Cameroon. Okay, and naturally, I was posted to work somewhere, and I've been working now for, let's just say that for 10 years now. Okay, since 2013. Okay, I was officially a doctor, and I was working from then till now. Okay, I've not always been in a hospital because there was a time in my life when I kind of exited the system. But what I'm trying to say is, right off the bat, when I got into med school, or before, no, 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 when I was getting into my very first job as a doctor, okay, I knew for sure that I wasn't going to be just a conventional medical doctor, okay, like we know it. Like you study biology, physiology, parasitology, and then you come out and then you're on this system. You're in a hospital that has rules, and then you have to go by the book. You have to prescribe antibiotics, surgery if required, and all of that. Okay, there's a point where you know there's that voice that said, "Hey, stop it, stop it. There has to be another way of helping your patients out." And let me tell you, I saw this particularly with chronic illnesses. In emergency medicine, that's understood. As a general practitioner, you have a taste of all of this. I used to spend the nights, I've had the opportunity to really be like an emergency doctor, especially in a time of crisis, because in my country, Cameroon, we knew a certain crisis period, okay, in the southwest region of Cameroon, particularly. And there were moments when in the emergency room, it was all blood. I'm talking about blood on the floor, like everywhere, bullet wounds, shrapnel wounds, shell shock, I mean, military uniforms, crying, pain, amputations, you know, loss of lives, having to deal with all of that. And I realized that emergency medicine is good. When it comes to conventional medicine, and I really do hope that I'm really audible. I really do hope I'm audible. And I told myself on this live that even if I just have one person, it doesn't really matter. Okay. This is my very first live. I haven't done a live ever before. So it doesn't really matter. So I was saying that when it comes to medicine, I realized that in, conventional Western medicine as we know it, okay, when it comes to emergencies, okay, broken bones, fractures, uh, you know, gunshot wounds, lacerations. where it requires immediate repair, I do agree that at that point, conventional medicine is pretty good, okay? Because it's an emergency. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to, if you need surgery, if it needs a repair, if it needs an x-ray done and everything done, yes, you got to go to it straight and repair the wound, okay? But I realized in my practice of medicine, okay, that when it comes to chronic illness, okay, in chronic illness, like I'm talking about diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, be it in the terminal stage or not, you know, there's the challenge of, I saw patients that kept coming, you know, for like 2 years straight, 3 years, 5 years straight, and they still had their same high blood pressure. I was prescribing them this medication, and they kept coming, you know. I understand it's difficult, and I knew for sure that there was something wrong and that something had to be done. I have my good intentions to help and save people. When I came out of school, that's what I thought I was gonna do. But I quickly realized that I'm in a system that wants to keep people hooked onto these drugs for the rest of their lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about big pharma, you know? And I was like, no, 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 no. I can't keep on like this. And I'll tell you this truth. There were many nights when in bed, I would lay there in bed and I'm asking myself, look, I'm a fraud. I'm a medical doctor and I thought I was here to save lives, but I realized that I'm just part of a system, part of some kind of mafia that wants to keep people hooked onto this drug, okay? Buying and slave to these drugs for the rest of their lives, okay? And without, you know, some of these patients, I tell you, I had to be called into the emergency room. And you can imagine how it felt to see a patient that I've been working with for the past 3, 4 years, and they finally wind up with a stroke, and then probably they don't get any emergency care or whatever in time, and then they die, they pass away. That's probably extreme. But how about the many other cases that just remain in limbo? Let me just use limbo. That means a case where they're not having like sustainable solutions to your health problems. So I just want to give you some background as to where I'm coming from. After having gone through all of this, you know, this is now flash forward because I started work in 2014. Flash forward 2021, I had an opportunity to come back to this town where I had my first posting as a doctor, and then because of crisis, my house got burned and gunshots and all that scare. I left the town and came back. I left in 2019 and came back in 2021. And when I came back with I had a high fade, okay, high top fade, okay. And by March 2021, this thing just came to me, and I was like, hey, Emmanuel, you are not going to keep on, you're still going to be a doctor, but your whole persona, your whole character, there's going to be a change in the way you're going to view life now. I really do hope for the two persons viewing, I hope that I'm audible enough. Okay. I really do. So, so what I was saying is that when I came back in 2021 to practice medicine, because let me tell you, in 2019, this is the storyline. I went to work. I started work in 2014, and in 2019, there's this crisis that happened, in our country, and in particularly in the region where I was working, and the whole hospital got burned down, including the house where I was living. I was living in a residence within the hospital. That night, I knew everything was done for me. I was in this house, and there were gunshots all around the home, you know, getting into the walls. I was on the floor and choking to death because the house was on fire. I was scared to jump out of that house because I knew that if I went out, these guys were shooting guns outside, and I didn't know what's going to happen to me. But yet the house was burning down, and I was choking in those fumes. So in 2019, I had to leave the city where I was working in. It's called Kuba, okay, the southwest region of Cameroon. And I only came back to that same city 3 years, 2 years afterwards, okay, in 2021. So when I came back, I didn't have this hair on, okay. I had a high top fade in 2021, and then I decided to start freeform locks, okay. Back then I probably didn't understand why I had to choose this, but right now it's becoming clearer to me, okay. I realized that apart from just having freeform locks, my whole life was going to go freeform. For me, freeform is the ultimate level of living your life free of any um, of status quo, of stereotypes, of certain prescribed uh, uh, ways of dressing and living life. Okay, um, and just following your inner compass. Okay, that's exactly how I felt when I chose in around March 2021 to start Freeform Locks. So this is me. I'm coming back, being a doctor again in this city where I almost lost my life. And I thought that the Freeform Locks was just going to be all that was going to change. What I realized also was that I began to dig in to have a better understanding of what medicine was all about. And just recently, let me just flash forward, okay? Just about 3 days back, I stumbled on a book by Dr. Robert Mendelssohn called Confessions of a Medical Heretic. Okay, Confessions of a Medical Heretic. And in that book, this is a confession of a medical doctor who is talking about the, how should I call it, the hoax of conventional Western medicine. Okay, the whole, he calls it the church of modern medicine. Okay, and he describes how this whole medical system was really put into, you know, to promote death, to promote sickness. Somebody called it the sickness business, you know. And when I read the book, I was like, oh no, Confessions of a Medical Heretic by Dr. Robert Mendelssohn. And when I finished the book, I was like, most of what he was saying was just confirming what I already knew and read about. And most of the things are things that I've experienced working for 10 years as a medical doctor, okay? That whole scam of, just prescribing drugs endlessly, even if we know that they're not going to work, okay? I'll give you an example. I had a patient some months back who came to me and in the clinic where I work, and he told me he had been there 5 years. He has been coming there for 5 years, and he has a high blood pressure, and now he developed chest pain. When I went through his records, I realized that they've been prescribing him like some anti-hypertensive drugs, okay, medications for high blood pressure. And immediately what I told him, and when he came to see me, this is 5 years afterwards, the first thing I told him was, look, sir, if you're taking drugs or certain medications for 5 years and you're not having any results, what that tells me is that the drugs or the medications don't work. He laughed, and to cut the long story short, I put him through a therapy, okay, which consists of fasting, intermittent fasting, and with some a fruit diet. And he came back 2 weeks afterwards, and guess what? His blood pressure came down considerably, like close to normal. He had developed diabetes, like high blood sugar levels, and he was on this drug called metformin, and he's taking 2 tablets twice daily. And guess what? Just after 2 weeks of this therapy, which didn't cost him any money, but just discipline, I mean, his blood sugar came down to near normal. Okay, with just 1 tablet of that metformin. And he was like, doctor, look, I haven't had these results for 5 years of taking medication. And it's only you that's been able to take me through this and have these results without any medication. Okay. I like to see myself as a drugless healer. So what I'm trying to say is that, how I want to merge this with Freeform is that There are moments in my life when I realized that it felt like my life did not have any purpose, that it was just going in different directions. Okay, my sometimes my daddy, I know he has often looked at me like I was just mad, like I've lost my mind. Okay, who is this doctor that goes out? He doesn't care about getting his license. Um, he doesn't seem to. He doesn't want to do practice the medicine like conventionally. Okay, and I just realized a few days back that I've been seemingly going in disorder, but there's some order in the chaos. You know, what I've been trying to do without realizing it is trying to break off of this system. My hairdo is kind of testifying that I'm breaking off of a system. Okay, as long as I'm not offending or breaking into anybody's freedom, I realized that in a sense, my whole life is going free form also. My career as a doctor is not following the regular path that has been prescribed, okay, from the time that I left school. This is 10 years now since I left school. Like in 2013, I graduated, okay? And since then, I haven't followed the regular path, like of going to working in the government hospital and then eventually branching off to go specialize and all of that. I've rather been trying to investigate more about this conventional Western medicine. And I can tell you right now, I've been on recently, recently I've been getting hooked onto acupuncture, okay, electro acupuncture. And I realized that acupuncture is so beneficial and it doesn't require, it's not invasive. And I mean, just with acupuncture, you can solve problems that have taken years to try to solve with all kinds of poisonous medications. So, like this is a device, okay? It's an electro acupuncture pen. It's so I kind of I use it to, I use it on meridian, on acupuncture points, various points on my body, and I simply use that to balance out my chi or my energy, and that restores my body, the balance in my system. And I realized that if solutions like this can help people, right? This is what I'm calling free form. This is what I'm calling free form. For me is it seems in the same way that my hair is going different directions, okay, and seemingly not having like any structure to it, in the same way, that's all I'm trying to tell you. In the same way, my life has been going seemingly in just no direction at all, but everything is beginning to make more sense to me right now. It's beginning to make sense to me that I'm going in the right path of trying to help myself and people heal without the use of poisonous medications, and even more so, empowering them to go home and find solutions for themselves. Okay. And in the end, the whole thing is I realized that as a conventional physician, the only way that I'll need to help my people is to go out of business. Yes, that's what it actually means. I'll need to actually go out of business and allow people to get in touch with nature, to get in touch with what is more natural to help their healing. Okay. I know that I've said a lot of things and probably that it doesn't have any a lot of structure to it. But what I'm trying to say is that my life is also going free form too. It seems to be going in so many different directions, but the more I go those different uncharted paths, the more I discover who I am, and the more I discover that I'm a part of the whole, and the more I realize that the path that is not often trodden, the path that I chose, which my other colleague doctors haven't often chosen, which are often laughed at and ridiculed, is actually the path of healing, is the path of self-discovery, is the path of 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 It's the elixir of life. So, guys, I just wanted to share with you. I just wanted to somehow also have an update in the same live video, like show you how far I'm going on this journey, and that I haven't stopped. I know I haven't published videos for a while, and I just wanted to, the take-home message here is sometimes if you feel in your life that your life isn't going in any purposeful direction, embrace it. Look at the story within it. There's forcefully a story, behind that which is apparently looking formless. By the way, I remember reading in this book called The 48 Laws of Power that there is power in being formless. Assume formlessness. It's a way of adapting. Look at water. Water takes on the shape of whatever container it finds itself in. And I've realized that I've often found a lot of bliss by just being formless, by being by being formless in the way that I approach life. I'm a doctor, and the path that I've taken so far doesn't seem to have had, the form. I've actually gone free form in my journey so far, and I'm finding that it is very revealing and it's a healing process for me. So, guys, I really do hope that you enjoyed this live, and I would like to learn a lot from you. I really do hope I was really audible. Also, enjoy your freeform journey. Not just your freeform log journey, your freeform life journey. Okay, embrace it and make a story out of it. Put sense and meaning into it. Okay, and then enjoy life. So catch you guys on the next video, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.